Back at it again. I am getting ready to head off to another bike adventure, going down to San Diego for the Belgian Waffle Race. So I always start these videos off in my garage for whatever reason, but getting ready to break the bike down and pack it away in its case to prepare it for travel tomorrow. Made it down to San Diego from San Jose. It's a really quick trip. It's only about an hour. And everything's been going really well right now. Very smooth trip. So just got to the rental car and packing the bike up. Getting ready to drive about 45 minutes north to San Marcos to check into the hotel. And yeah, the adventure can begin. I am on my way to the Canyon showroom, which is about 7 miles away from where I'm currently staying. It should be an easy coast all the way down to Encinitas. Right now I'm on the border of San Marcos. I believe this might even be the Vista area. But anyways, there's going to be a 20-mile social ride with some of the pros and participants for the Belgian Waffle Gravel Ride. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finally seeing the Canyon showroom, get to go in there and check things out and get a nice chill ride in. And this is a coastal ride too, so looking forward to it.
All of our athletes who made the trek out here and are graciously going to be riding with us. It's a very special sport that we have, that the pros really spend a lot of time with the fans in a very close and intimate way. So let's get a big round of applause for all of our athletes who are here today as well. All right, so yeah, we for sure do. 100%.
It's all me, yeah, custom. Alright. Yeah. What's the significance? No, it's just I'm coming from the graffiti world, so I customize everything. Alright. Are you riding Sunday? Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Love it. Incredible down here. I always miss it every time I come down this way. Nice meeting you, man.
All right, it's event day. It's pretty early. It's around 6:15 a.m. and I'm making my way over to the starting line. You need to be over at the starting line no later than 6:45, and then the event kicks off at 7. Also, I haven't been feeling good. I got sick Friday night and spent most of Saturday just in recovery mode, so I've got a pretty sour stomach. I think I caught a stomach bug. But anyhow, kind of bummed out, but at least I'm well enough to do the event. So I'm semi-excited, but it looks like this is going to be a long day with a stomach that is not feeling good at all. The route that I'm doing is called the WAFER, and that is approximately 80 miles with 6,000 feet of climbing. And 40% of this route is going to be on dirt, so that's something to call out. Everything else is on road. So as you can see, there is quite a number of people that have turned out for the event. I did the 2023 event, really enjoyed it, so I decided to come back this year. Just sucks that my stomach is not doing well. But anyhow, the race is off. Once we get out of this parking lot from the starting line, we're going to make a left and then begin a series of false flats, or at least there's an immediate false flat, and then we'll start to hit a rolling hill and then a more sustained climb. For a short period of time, we're going to be climbing into the sun. It is pretty bright, but the weather today is going to be great. There is a high of 71, and to start right now it's around 55, 56 degrees, so couldn't have asked for better weather. We've just turned onto this street. It is short but fairly steep, so if you weren't warmed up before you got here, you'll definitely be warmed up by the time you make it to the top of this thing. I'm just trying to get a good pace going and find some wheels to jump on. I think at this point I just stood up out of the saddle and just sprinted up to the top of the hill just to get the legs warmed up and ready to go. Stomach was feeling okay for a little bit, but that ended up being short-lived, just a few miles down the road. Once we started the second climb is where my stomach issue started to return. So I was going at a casual pace by that time. But right here, everything's good. I actually like this climb because everyone is all still together. No one has really stretched out just yet, and there's a huge pack up front you can see. So as long as you can stay with the pack, you can find some really good wheels to ride once you make it to the summit of this thing and coast down to the bottom. This is the first sustained climb of the day. I actually like this road. It's long, straight, pretty smooth. It's not too steep, but it is a steady climb and you can go at a nice pace. Wow, look, she is dusting me. But yeah, I remember last year around this particular point in time, there was just like a sea of riders all around. Had some good conversations, and fitness level was a little bit better last year. Obviously, I didn't have the spoiled stomach. I ate a kid's granola bar right before this ride, and this is the point where I started to just feel it sitting in my throat. yeah, it was a little uncomfortable. And then got to meet this person. I think her name was VK. I noticed she had a San Jose Bike Club kit on, which is the bike club in my local area. So had a good chat with her.
Occasionally. I do the B ride.
Oh, you do?
Not often.
I do the B ride. My name is BK. What's your name?
Kevin. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'll meet you again.
Yep.
Have a great day.
You too.
That's one of the many great things I love about cycling. I get to meet so many different types of people, and people are generally pretty nice. We've just finished that first climb, and now we've got a long descent. This is really nice, but one thing that I am aware of because I did this last year, this is the same way you have to return. So this really long, enjoyable descent turns into a really long, agonizing climb at the end once you're making your way back up to Double Peak, which is incredibly steep. So I've got this in mind, like, yeah, this is all fun and games now, but later in the day when the heat is up and you've been out here on the course grinding away, you've got to come back up this thing. We have finally made it to our first dirt segment, and now this is where everyone gets squirrely. Wow, they are hauling ass. But yeah, this is usually, in my opinion, the most dangerous part, because now we've encountered dirt for the first time. People are riding at different skill levels. Some folks are just going balls out. So there's a lot of things to just be aware of when you hit this first segment. And then also, like I mentioned just before, this is the same way we have to come back later in the day. The Belgian Waffle routes are kind of like a series of out and back segments. And then once you've completed, I would say about 90% of the course, then you head back in this direction. You're going back uphill. There are a lot of events that have an out and back setup. There's a lot that are just loops, but Belgian Waffle has a series of kind of like spurs where you're constantly going out and back for most of the day until it's time to return back to the finish line. Everyone's got to dismount from their bikes to get over this gate that is up ahead. It's not quite low enough to bunny hop over it. I mean, some people here have got the skills to do it, especially the mountain bikers, but in this big group, it's recommended to just get off your bike, pick your bike up. Last year I did see a guy try to hop over this thing, and yeah, it didn't end well for him. He didn't clear it, but that pole is not very high at all. Like if I was by myself or with a small group of people, I'm pretty sure I can get up over it. Turning onto a fun part of the course. There was nothing too steep in here, thank God, because I was really starting to feel a bit fatigued just from the dumb stomach issue that I'm suffering through. But it's pretty scenic. We're outside of the suburbs in the wilderness here. Not sure what this area is called, but really enjoyed the view. And this group that I'm riding with, we're going at a good pace, so I felt pretty comfortable here. And then we come to a screeching halt. There was a group of riders up ahead that had some difficulty navigating across this really small creek crossing. So the pack I was riding with was going pretty fast, and then, unfortunately, we had to come to a stop, but all good. Then you emerge from that long, lengthy trail into the aid station. So pretty cool. Since my stomach wasn't feeling too well, I just wanted to get some fresh water and quickly look to see if there's any light snacks that I can eat that won't cause havoc or any more havoc on my stomach, and then quickly get back on the trail. The trails that we're riding on are still open to the public, so you have to use some caution when you're out here. There's always a handful of hikers in certain sections. And then there's this climb. This is what I had been looking forward to for most of the ride so far. I remember this from last year. It is super steep. Wow, this guy just toppled over. The challenge with this is not just the steepness, but because it's a single track, if anyone goes down in front of you or is not keeping pace, you pretty much have to unclip or try to navigate around them without toppling over. But this is a seriously challenging segment of the route. In my opinion, it's the second steepest part of the Belgian Waffle. But for me and my fitness level, it is the single most challenging part of the ride. I mean, I have yet to make it all the way up to the top without unclipping at least twice. Maybe next year I can make it in one attempt. Third time's a charm, who knows? Poor dude was having a mechanical. I had been watching him struggle on the bike for a while, and he finally got off to inspect whatever was going on. This part of the course is one of my favorites. It is a nice, flowy, single track segment, rolling hills, nothing super steep at all, but really fun. This is what I meant when I said that the trails are open to the public. You'll see lots of mountain bikers and hikers on the trail. So hopefully there's some signage on the entrances of the trailheads warning the public that there's a race event happening. I can never get used to seeing people just chucking their bottles. I mean, unless you're a pro, I'm not sure I understand the logic on doing that, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So this is the start of a short but steep climb, and I noticed this guy was pedaling with one leg. He had an issue with his crank arm. I think his crank arm may have snapped off at some point, but also I recognized him because he's got a YouTube channel, so I'm like, oh wow, that's the one guy. I think his name is Dwayne Pedals. You can find his channel. He's got some cool content. But it's pretty cool to see him out here. And then also on his video, he's got a recap video of the Belgian Waffle. He talks about the mechanical that he was suffering here. So it was cool to catch up with the guy and chat with him for a hot second before I pushed off. I'm starting the intense climb up the infamous Double Peak Road. This is a little under 3 miles of a climb, and it is steep. You'll top out around 24% grade up near the top, and on average I believe this hovers around maybe 12%. But if you weren't tired before getting to this climb, you definitely will be once you get up over this thing. Also, this is towards the end of the ride for people who are doing the WAFER route, so that is about 85 miles, and this is coming in at the 70th mile marker, I believe. But anyhow, it requires pure power to get up to the top of this, so this is a brutal challenge. Believe it or not, I am happy that I am doing this climb because I know this is it. There's no more challenges to be completed except for making it across the finish line, and since I'm not feeling well, I know that the end is near. Kudos to all the volunteers that come out and help support this race, or really any race event. It is always very appreciated. Love this lady, by the way. But yeah, the fist pumps at the top are well needed. Love it. And I'm up here now just trying to regain my vision and complete this last little like stair stepper around the corner, and then get my butt down into town and across the finish line.
Oh, yes, thank you.
My legs are wobbling at this point, but I've regained some stamina and just getting back on it so that I can get up this last little fun segment that is set up here. You have to make it up over these little wooden stair stepper things. Pick a good line. I usually try to stay to the left where there are some notches for you to pass through. And then that is officially it for the climbs. Now it is all a big, long, fun descent into town and finish the race. So descending down the way that you came up, you're going to gain a ton of speed because of the steepness, but you have to be aware there is a sharp, hard right that you have to make, so hopefully your brakes are working pretty well. So this is pretty much the end of the race. I am pumped that I've completed another year of the Belgian Waffle Ride. Next year, I think I'm gonna have to step it up and do the full waffle, the 118-mile route. But all things considered, with a severely sour stomach, grateful that I was able to complete the ride. And yeah, another successful year. I'm going to make sure to come back next year and try to shatter this year's time, since I was just kind of slow poking around. But I really, really enjoy coming down to San Diego to do this event. The weather is always phenomenal. People are great. The route is nice. Yeah, that's all the rambling for now.